It really is kind of peaceful to see the boats go through.
It is. My dad been enjoying it all day. He took off. He took a day off from work. Actually took 2 days off from work. He said I'm going fishing, and so it's gonna be nice seeing nice season coming up.
It was pretty today.
I got 1 week, 2 days. Oh,
Hey.
hey, girl. And 2 days. Yeah. I'm in week number 5, dog. Jesus, if I can make it to next Friday.
Where you going?
Get drunk.
Me
I
too.
gave up alcohol from them.
Oh dang!
But I
Don't
drank
you know
enough
you
Mardi
do a
Gras
different
day.
flavor?
Huh?
You can give up a different flavor.
That's okay. I drank enough Mardi Gras. I didn't even take weekends off. I am suffering. But see next Friday. And to get back. Cook me up when it's over. How's it going?
What's going?
Look at your husband. That's who y'all was making noise in here.
I got.
What's going on? I was in there on the phone, some spoke about Poor Dolores. You knew Dolores Kibbing?
Probably if I saw her.
Huh?
If I saw her,
She
maybe.
worked at in the sheriff's office with Mike Cass
Forever.
forever. Like if you ever bought any of that
The greens.
the greens and stuff through the winter, that was her. And she got sick. She had a stroke about a year and a half ago.
Yep.
That's I don't know if it was Lathan Botan. That's his name. He came back home to take care of her. Mm-hmm.
My daddy was never the same after a stroke, and he retired. He worked till he was 68. It wasn't a month later.
Oh darn. Anyways.
He probably would have been better working.
never know. You just never know. Birds are eyes and pedigree eggs, that's what he used to say. We'll be raising hell trying to get ready for high time on the weekend. It's gonna be alright. Shit ain't gonna be alright. But we're gonna make it alright. Alright, I need to go get water for everybody. What else I need to do? I am delirious.
We might not be here that long.
Yeah. Where my fans at?
Right? I started to order some for Saturday.
We be alright. We gonna get going with the fans for the adult stuff that we do. This is the first time we've been doing stuff strictly for. Well, I used to do Halloween, Terror City Lights doing stuff for kids. Me, I like doing stuff for seniors because we all get drunk and stuff. So anyway, and then now Jeff got his stuff. So then we go do this thing with Charlene in August. So that's for senior citizens, and that should be fun. And then, well, I really wanted to do a senior roundup, but I'll see. We're going to do it in August. It's going to be fun. Get all this stuff in, getting all kind of stuff. It's exciting. Food coming out our caboose.
Oh, there's a
Everything
dude.
is here.
That dude. I don't want to talk to him.
Huh?
That dude that wants to do that housing, I'm against it.
I know. And she against it. So that's all.
I don't like. He sent me a message. He thinks we some poor ass town. Well, I'm ready to vamp it back up. It's time to clean it up and get it right.
We'll go get that. I've been putting out the apps for the blue tar. These people that still got blue tarps in their house.
Come to
There's a
think of
separate
it, I printed
application
that
for the blue
form.
tar.
I printed that form in my desk and I wanted to hand them out.
Well, if anybody wants it, we're going out. I had copies up here. I gave some to Charlene. Anybody just send them up here, we give them the blue tar. You know, I used to chair Habitat West. I don't know if we got any viable land to put any more Habitat houses on, but what was it, California Street, and then we did Pine Street with the Habitat house. That's a good piece. And then we have to figure out how we're going to repair a lot of these houses and what the programs are that actually come in and Dow, and sometime Exxon Dow worked with us with Habitat houses, and their employees, they get X number of days off, and they'll come in, and within 2 or 3 months, we got a house. So we can get the volunteers to come in with the talent to put these houses back together. It's a matter of us sitting down and saying we're gonna do it. Now, Ms. Lawrence liked to get with the USDA people, but they had an application this thick, and the people come and eat our cookies and drink our punch, and they didn't wanna fill that out. Now, the blue tarp is not, it's what, 3 pages, and it's very simple. But we have to work these people through that. If the USDA thing is not it, and now that we got, well, the girl that was there before, but now Kyle Arduin is over the rural development, he's gonna come in and work with us and doing some awesome things. It's just a matter of getting to sitting at the table. We've been sitting at the table, you have no idea. By the way, Roston III wants to give us the Dagestini wheel. That's another conversation I had with you. And if you had chief of police wouldn't have pissed me off. It might have been on the agenda this month. Don't do this to me. And that's my friend. I bring my friend to you. He tells me what he's going to offer
Not
us.
our new one, huh?
And then I'm going like, oh, well, this would be great because the lake wants to come. Wouldn't it be nice to be able to go 2 minutes and be at a
I've
health
been
center?
trying that.
Oh, no, conversation is that. So I need to get you, and you would be good on the committee. Gary, can't get the 2 of y'all. You and Gary.
I
Actually,
wanted an eye medical center, but now they done got one in Brewer.
we can still get that too. But the lake,
We need a lab.
we have to have
That way they don't
facilities
have to go to
for it.
Baton Rouge Clinic.
But we have to put happily now. Now we got a place. Now we gotta meet and see what they wanna come up with and then what we have to do. But Gary's on board with it. But anyway, they're, you know, but I'm not gonna give you that whole building to help the police department. Anyway, that's another venting. But there, I'm going like this. It's been like this. And then, you know, since your old man didn't even cut off the cameras or the alarms, and he's sitting there looking at all our Adidas niggas and be calling the new man saying, you need to check this and you need to check that. For the last 3 days, I've been cutting everybody off. Now I'm waiting for the rest of them to leave so I can change all the keys around here. And I told the man, he said, well, nobody ever told us about the TV cameras. I said, you know what? This man been here 4 months. And she has no clue what's going on. The old man has to call her and say so and so and so. He said, what? So he'll be here tomorrow. So we changing all that. So it's just a matter of us cleaning that up and trying to do other things. But totally open to any
And people need to
everything.
calm down. They need to let her get in there. I mean, let her get in there.
And help her as she moves along. Oh, she knows what she's a strong one. They gonna understand
Well,
her
she's what I like about her. She's a go-getter, and she investigates. She doesn't just do something. She researches.
She is open to do anything that's positive for the city of Port Allen, and that's what excites me because that's why I'm here. I'm already retired. I don't need to be here, but I love it because it's about doing exciting things. You know, I still dream of a cobblestone street down here. I still dream of having a ferry boat going back and forth to Baton Rouge. And I fought and I fought. And finally, because that was my big passion with Garrett, other than the Social Security thing. And he sent some, I had no help. And then finally, there is a grant on the table. Hopefully, it's still there. And the people came down $156 million for a water taxi to get us from east to west. And that was the only reason he listened to them. And then he blew them off. But it would be nice, boo, because you get stuck on that bridge. I went toe-to-toe with Gina Barra one day. She
Yeah,
said, well,
because,
we go backwards if we get y'all a ferry boat. Ma'am, suppose you get injured on the interstate right here and it's snowing and you can't get across the bridge because it's frozen. How you gonna get?
I worked with people that still took it in Plaquemine and came from Prairieville to work.
And so what's going on now is when I did ask DHH to do it, they refused me because they know that the ticket is going to be on them and they don't want to take care of it. So it's still a fight that we need to continue to work with, but we need a water taxi because of the fact that we can't get everybody across the bridge at a reasonable amount of time. Yeah, it'd be nice if we had a little mini bus, so you put them on a bus and they get on top of the bridge and they still can't go nowhere. Where they going? You know, this is my plight.
I'm pretty patient with that bridge because I'm used to it, but my sisters aren't. Oh Lord, I'm like, they just want to go here and there. I said, well, all right.
Yeah, it's you know, once again, before Katrina, it was fine. And then the people wouldn't go home. They came here and thought it was a nice place to stay. I've been
Safe.
pissed off with them ever since.
Yep, safe.
Your own.
Safe. Even
I like New Orleans, you go back
girl,
there.
even though even the homeless people want to live here.
Wait, we in a building. Wait, I gotta take y'all. You know, we trying to do the depot for visitor center. Babe, somebody got a couch and they got clothes back there. They got a barbecue pit. They got not only do they have the couch, they got the end table, and then they had a pair of iron slippers tucked under the couch like you put under your bed.
Oh. Wait, in the caboose?
No, outside, right in front of the caboose. There's the
Well, they
couch.
used to stay in the
There's the end table. There's the cooking stove thing, and then the man, whoever it was, had a pair of iron slippers tucked under the couch. I'm done.
That's a new one.
I feel like
They used to stay at
What they got it hidden so well, cause you know I come
you
home.
can't see. That's why that part of the thing, it really needs to be closed in. Now the reality of it, we need to extend the building and just close that part in because they're gonna continue to do it. Cause I thought about, okay, let's just fence it in. Nah, we just need to close that in and have the side patios and go about our business. It ain't gonna work. And put me some people.
I love her to death.
I love it. Look, and when she her passion's on full display, ain't nothing like it.
Well, what kills me though, I get so aggravated when I get compared to my sisters and brothers because it's like I'm a Brahma individual person. But when I'm looking at her, I see Miss Pata.
Wow.
I do. You know Miss Pata, right? Her sister. They are like twins. Actions. I mean, it's like I'm talking to her sister.
Right. And I think everybody has at least a relative that they kind of mirror a little bit. Like, even Miss Lawrence. Miss Lawrence and her sister Miss Catherine, Don Lemon's mom. Oh my God, it's a weird mirror image of each other. Like, Miss Lawrence is proper, Miss Catherine is just laid back. Just
So I got a sister that's not. I'm quiet, serious. She's loud. We look a lot alike. She's a lot taller. People mistake, like they'll start talking to me, but then they realize I'm not her, and I'm like, I know who you thought I was.
oh wow.
But we don't act alike. But when we together, we can read each other's mind,
Right.
and it's hilarious. It's funny.
Me and two of my brothers, sometimes all three of us, but me and my middle brother, we're kind of grown into that. So like we enjoy each other's company. Like, so much that you would think you would know who you're talking to at some time. We look completely different. I got all my hair, his hairline's back here. I'm sure he's
Well, this
taller.
sister of mine's more blingier than I am.
Everybody, no, I think
She's
everybody-
loud and she's blingy.
I think everybody has.
Me and my sister, we both loud. And the older we get, the more we start looking alike. It's gonna be a great day. It's gonna be a great
I
day.
think so.
I am so excited for the city of Port Allen.
I think so.
I still want to build a community radio station here. If only the LCC would open the window up.
Well, I mean, it'd be nice if you can't even have just public broadcasting thing.
Yeah, that's but to get the frequency, the LCC gotta open up the lottery again, and it might be another 10, 15, 20 years before they do that. We got lucky about 2 years ago, but I was doing a whole different kind of project then.
So you remember the one we had so many years ago? My sister worked there. Hi. So it could happen, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, I'm waiting. In fact, my engineer buddy, who has a friend in the LCC, he'll call me and kind of give me heads up. Hey, this.
We'll do a podcast.
I started doing the podcast thing recently, on the producer side, and while it's cool for the most part, I ain't found anything that just stands out yet. Because you kind of hear it, and then you can monopolize it at that point, turn it into the next like big ratings. It's very possible. But most people don't have the additional marketing skills that it takes to pull it off.
It's a lot more work than it seems. Cause
Yeah.
Dolly's sister, I'm friends with Dolly's sister, part, and she did one for a little while, and she didn't like doing it. I'm trying to get Stella. Her sister would come. Dolly won't. If I could get Dolly to do a video visit and do like a woman's conference for the Imagination Library is what I might could swing that. But I know I can get her sister or her nieces.
Whatever we could do. We the closest thing we got to the Angela Rose was getting on that big nationwide podcast.
I'm not having success with this one. I don't know none of this.
So this is her sister.
Oh. Well, when can we get that out?
I've been begging her for 10 years. I'm gonna try. I know I can get the two, maybe the nieces.
I don't know if I even catch the agenda on my ear. I might need to go to my lunch.
I know Dolly did a video thing conference for Opelousas, so if she did it for Opelousas, she could do it for us.
You know, when you get to a point, you just want to erase everything. Yesterday.
I gotta write stuff down to remember what I want to do. I'm like, go to the grocery store when you get off.
Miss King,
Hello?
how are y'all today?
Just wonderful.
Thank you.
This thing's on, I think.
How's your week so far?
It's alright.
It's all right.
Got one more day.
Gonna be a long one, huh? Adrian, gonna be a long one. So, I guess I need to ask the mayor, what do y'all need help with Saturday?
Everything.
Everything? Show up?
We got, we got our setup people, that are employees.
Okay.
We're going games, prizes, trying to organize and help organize and that for the kids.
Okay.
We got a couple people who's gonna be at the registration table and hand out the baskets in the bag.
Okay.
And we got the, just kind of help supervise, watch
Gotcha.
the kids.
Gotcha. That's cool.
We're gonna have 3 different types of Easter egg hunts, and then we got sack races. We're gonna have the finger painting,
Okay.
face painting.
Sounds fun. Sounds
It's
fun.
gonna be fun. Got a little DJ rolling. Got all kind of food. We got the hot dogs and the nachos and the jambalaya. The kids in the little punch boxes and the soft drinks and stuff. Put 'em on
Oh, that sounds fun. Okay. Okay. I'll be there.
Try not to come short. And then we're gonna have little gifts for everybody that leaves, depending on how many.
Depending on-
I don't have 500.
Yeah. Well, it's impossible to know who's gonna show
Right,
up.
we
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
But like with the eggs, they got a little candy in them, and then some of them get a little prize, depending on what's on the bottom of the egg.
Okay.
And then we got the game. We got the toys in the game.
Sounds good.
And we go, I don't know who gets prize. Who gets the bike prize? Still got somebody that donated 2 bikes. We got skateboards. We got bikes. We got, we go from the little stuff down
Okay.
to
Okay.
big stuff. So they should have fun.
So, yeah. So all we got to do is show up.
So
So-
because this is
Eh,
our
eh,
first one,
all right.
we're kind of
Feeling it,
ourselves.
okay,
So
okay.
you see the mic down and somebody needs to make an announcement.
Gotcha.
I feel so now because we're really feeling ourselves out. I tried to put a runner show together, but it's a kids thing, so we got to kind of feel it out. And
Okay.
see what
Cool. Sounds fun.
Yes.
Sounds fun.
Hey, Jerry, sorry we missed you the other day.
Sounds fun. Chief? What's happening, Chief?
Sure is a pretty bad.
Adrian, how are you?
Stand up.
asked, Tony Erical to do like an analysis for that property, so he just did a little quick synopsis for me. So I just made y'all some copies.
All right.
For, okay, 15th Street.
Yeah.
Miss Maggie Evans, is she here?
She was, yeah. She said.
Miss Lacy? Ma'am? Miss Foray? Miss Foray, is she here? Mrs. Strange, we know he's here.
I don't know, there's a program out there.
And Mr. Tanner, he is.
So,
I don't know if that was a good. On my side, it being on ours, which is not a problem, that's what he did.
how you doing?
I use it in blood, baby. My finger's already cut.
Regular meeting of the mayor and city council, city of Port Allen, Louisiana, Wednesday, April 9, 2025, 5:30 PM. Council chambers. Each person must decide before entering the chamber which agenda item they wish to comment on. If they are not seated in the chamber when the agenda item is heard, they will be notified by an officer to enter the council chambers to address that agenda item. Agenda. Please silence all electronic devices. Call to order. Pledge of allegiance. Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Here.
Here.
For approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of March 12, 2025. Can I get a motion?
I motion it.
Okay, second? Okay, it was motion by Councilman Payne, second by Councilwoman Joseph. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Joseph? Yes. Ms. Gordon?
Yes.
Mr. Hubble?
Yes,
Ms. King?
Yes.
Payne?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, number 5, public comments. Comments from the public are allowed in accordance with LARS 42:11, section 2 through 34, and specifically limited to an agenda item to be considered during the meeting. 3 minutes per person and 15 minutes per topic. And 6, presentation of the 2023-24 annual audit of the city of Port Allen by Erickson Printal CPA Consultants. Mr. Tanny?
good afternoon, council, good afternoon, mayor.
I don't know.
Can you hear me okay, or, I don't know, maybe not?
Oh, check it.
Good afternoon, council, good afternoon, mayor. My name's Danny Buddy. I'm the auditor at Erickson Crentel that did the audit for the city of Port Allen. You got a big booklet in front of you. One is our audit report and statewide AUP report. And one is just a letter that I'm required to communicate with you that I go through every year. It's our communication of governance letter. Just kind of highlighting that, what are our responsibilities, what is management's responsibilities, and what is the board's responsibilities. Really, the biggest part of it is us doing the audit for the city of Port Allen does not relieve you or management of its responsibilities to provide oversight for the city of Port Allen. There was really no new significant accounting policy adoption updates, nothing that materially changed or had to restate the balance for prior years. I have a few management estimates of OPEB liability, depreciation expense, pension liability. These items are usually determined by an actuary that City of Port Allen either hires or is done within the retirement plan. Within there, there's just significant estimates that are material to the financial statements that we're opining on. We were unable to conduct the audit within the timely manner that we initially set about. Usually the City of Port Allen June 30th year-end audit has to be done within or submitted to the legislative auditor by December 31st, which would have been 2024. The date of our report is March 7th, 2025. So we were 2 months and 1 week late of submitting, which is a finding, and we'll kind of get to that at the back in our compliance findings. Management has accepted and corrected all misstatements that we've noted during the audit. We didn't have any significant disagreements with management during the audit process. If management was to consult with another CPA firm outside of the outsourced accounting of Falk and Winkler, we would just want to know what was discussed, because it's typically some sort of significant accounting policy that required judgment to get a professional opinion on. We weren't aware of anything else. And we have supplementary information schedules at the back of the report. I'm not going to go page by page, but I do want to highlight the management discussion and analysis, which provides a summary of the statement of net position and statement of activities for the city of Port Allen. Operationally, it went very well. There was an increase, or there was a decrease of restricted assets due to ARPA spending. The ARPA was in 2 transfers that was given to the city of Port Allen for what they earmarked as sewer improvement, which are going on. And that's around page 8, where we discussed the statement of net position. Current assets went down a little bit, but so did current liabilities, mainly due to, in 2023 fiscal year end, there was a significant payable for the road rehabilitation project. This year, when we were doing the audit, we noted that the project was paid for. So that is what led to the decrease in liabilities. And then flipping over to page 9, kind of highlight that charges for services were down. specifically for the utility side. That is primarily due to, or significantly due to the decrease in gas price. Compared from 2023 to 2024, there's a markup that the city of Port Allen charges its customers for residential, commercial, and industrial based on the price of gas. In 2024, you saw that average go down. So you can kind of see at the bottom of the expenses with water, sewage, and gas, your expenses also went down. So your charges for services went down, but your expenses went down. And altogether, you had a net increase of $1.4 million in the sewer, water, and gas funds. However, part of that is due to that ARPA funding that I mentioned. When the city is taking on these projects, they are capitalizing these expenses. So they're going onto the balance sheet, and they're gonna be depreciated over its useful life. So what it is they spent about 1.1 million in certain projects. I'll kind of touch on in a little bit. That's gonna be depreciated, so it looks like the city of Port Allen just came out ahead, way ahead on its charges for services. It's mainly due to the property and equipment that they purchased, such as the vacuum truck, the sewer infrastructure, cone park drainage, and the such. And then on page 10, really the two biggest changes in the chart, in the governmental activity revenue was sales tax, that steadily increased and kept going up, and investment earnings. Higher interest rates, more cash from the ARPA fund led to lower income. And then just kind of highlight several of the big projects or equipment that was purchased. Page 13, we kind of highlight major capital assets that were purchased during the year. One is that Cone Park drainage improvement project that's ongoing or was done. There was 5 new police vehicles that were purchased during the year. And we had a vacuum truck for $300,000 that was purchased using the ARPA funding. So I'm going to flip over and kind of get to, as far as the audit of the financial statements go for the city of Port Allen, we've issued a unmodified or clean opinion. We believe that after the corrections were made for the material adjustments, that the financial statements are presented fairly in accordance with that. But we did note 7 findings. 4, which were material weaknesses and internal controls, 3 being non-compliance issues. I'm going to flip over to page 88. I'm sorry, if anybody had any questions about the financial statements. I'll take care of them. This is the part that I really want to highlight because last year when I came out, we were late. This year we're late again. We've got to get a handle on the timely reconciliation, which is the first finding. We've got to be able to get a trial balance timely so that we can perform our audit. This requires doing monthly reconciliations, preparing control schedules and such. There were many accounts that weren't reconciled as of the year end, not just bank statements. And kind of going into the second finding, which would be related, we had a utility billing reconciliation finding. Because of how ENCODE works, you cannot run a historical aging report as of a certain day, so as of June 30th. When we came out and did the audit back in December, there was no way to be able to perform that audit without substantial reconstruction of the aging report to see what balances were owed by customers as of June 30th. Finding number 3, there was noted an employee at the City Court of Port Allen who was not submitting their time records, and there was no tracking of her leave or sick time paid, which didn't follow the city's policy of having a supervisor or department head. This would have been the judge at the city court to review and approve her time and submit to the city of Port Allen so that they could track it. Wasn't done. It was material as far as one employee, but we did find that it was only this one. Everybody else within the department, we did the statewide AUP. Everybody that was working within City Hall followed the processes. It was this one employee that was at the city court that we didn't have record of her absences. finding for internal controls related to utility and timely reconciliation. The city of Port Allen undercharged garbage collection fees for the whole year.
They undercharged?
Did not charge, they undercharge every customer by about $1 every month. The process is that when the contractor comes up and presents that I am increasing these fees based on the contract that was agreed by the council, the city must then go into the system and update the charge for the billings to residential commercial. That was not done until the next year when they were updating the next fee increase, where they noted we are behind. Technically, it's not a compliance finding. When we looked into it, the ordinance states to charge up to a maximum amount of what the vendor charges. The city is not to make money off of garbage collection fees. It is simply to pass the cost on from the vendor to the customer to provide the service. So while not a compliance finding, this was material, this was missed. Moving on to our 3 non-compliance findings. We've had this finding for a while now, the budget compliance finding. The city of Port Allen needs to amend their budget for the low-income housing fund because it is considered a special revenue fund, which is a governmental fund that follows the budget law for the state of Louisiana. If revenues or expenses are going to be at an unfavorable variance greater than 5% of the budget versus actual, the city must, in an open meeting, amend the budget to sufficiently cover. There was no amendment, so there was no control in place to even fix that issue in the first place. Again, this is a repeat finding for several years now. And this fund doesn't have a lot of transactions. This would be a monthly, when we get the financials and we compare budget versus actual, where are we at? But the problem is they are budgeting at a zero sum. So whatever expenses are projected to be, revenues are expected to be. So they have a very high favorable variance in revenues because they under budgeted. They have a very high unfavorable variance in expenses because they under budgeted. Sixth finding is non-compliance with Louisiana audit law reporting requirements. As I stated before, the report is due to the legislative auditor by December 31st. We submitted it around mid-March. And then the seventh finding is non-compliance with Louisiana open meeting laws. When we came out and did the planning, it's not that y'all didn't have the meeting, it's that it was not publicly posted online. It stopped as of April 2024. When we came out in November 2024, there was no minutes available. I know that was a
Minutes
lot.
have to be posted online.
When you show that you can post it online, and they were being posted online, just as they have, it stopped as of April. We came out in November, and I pulled it up, there's no minutes being posted. They're posted now, and I'll check after this meeting, did anybody get publicly posted that we came and presented this audit report? It should be done within, I think the view of the responsible official was within 48 hours of the meeting. So by the end of this week, I should be able to pull up this council meeting and see what happened. I know that was a lot all at once. I'm open to any questions or concerns that the council may or may have.
They may have questions. I talked to you, throughout the process, even though I took over in January. I tried to get the things that weren't done previous expedited, so I do appreciate you giving me the chance to, to try to get it done. Most of this was before me. We've talked about a lot of the findings, in-house, and moving forward, we have plans in place already.
do have to move on to the statewide agreed upon procedure. I'll just kind of go over it quick, what were the findings and what was management's responses to those. We've had the same findings for the last couple of years. We don't, I believe the city has a process, but we do not have a written formal process or policies and procedures for the approval of employee pay rates and maintenance of the pay rate schedule. We've done this testing specifically to our employee being paid at the right wage rate. It comes back fine. This is just a written policy and procedure. That's all this exception is saying. There's going to the board, and I'm on the second to last page of this full report. I'm on the statewide AUP. We did have a finding with the board or council meeting minutes in that there was no reference to the board reviewing these budgets to actual or comparing to previous years. There was no reference in the minutes that y'all are receiving a budget versus actual of where y'all stand operationally and then compared to prior year. I don't know if y'all are receiving that, but in the minutes, it's not being referenced. If y'all are not receiving it, I highly, highly recommend to resolve this issue. Y'all should be reviewing this. Like I said at the very beginning, us doing this audit does not absolve the council or the mayor or his staff of taking responsibility for the financial statements in its operations. We're just simply doing an audit. When I hold up the 6 pieces of paper out of this 100-page report of what we're actually opining on, everything else is the city of Port Allen's. Y'all need to have relevant, timely information to be able to make decisions.
Yeah.
This is a non-negotiable. This is a basic minimum requirement to be able to do what you need to do. Going forward with the bank reconciliations, there was no evidence that a member of management or a board member who does not handle cash, post ledgers, or issue checks reviewed each bank reconciliation within 1 month of the date of the reconciliation was prepared. I think this may have been a timing of the month that was selected because this was also a repeat finding of the prior year. I think going forward it's been addressed, but when we came out and did the statewide AUP in the last year, it was December, November. I think they pulled the month of October of 2023, and so it's more timing. I think when I looked at other reconciliations that were done as of June 30th, it's being done. Like, don't stop doing that just because I said that I did it once. For collections, it's within state policy and laws and regulations that everybody that handles cash is to be insured and put through a fidelity bond, dishonesty bond, whatever you want to call it. Not everybody, they did have, the city of Port Allen does have one of those cash bonds, but they didn't have it for everybody that handled cash. It's just an insurance policy to ensure that if anything were to happen, you're covered. Payroll and personnel, there was 2 out of the 4 quarters that the payroll taxes were not timely remitted. Thus, you incurred fees for not submitting your payroll taxes timely. Ethics, there was 1 employee who did not have support for the completion of ethics training. I think it was a part-time / kind of volunteer person. However, in the system, he's noted as an employee. We got randomly tested. It always happens. We always pick the 1. And sexual harassment, there are 2 employees / officials that do not have support for completion of the sexual harassment policy. That was it for my report. I'm hopeful as things are going forward, it gets cleaned up. It can only go up from here. This was probably the messiest, and I've been doing this audit since I think 2018, 2017 with Ken Alford. This one was bad. I don't know another way to say it. I wish there was more optimism optimistic, but not being able to get a trial balance until the week of Thanksgiving was already a setup for failure. I only say this because I believe that having that healthy conflict of addressing what the issue was will only help going forward. We used to start this audit October 1st. As of this September 30th, the system locks down. You can't make any changes. Something within Encode, and we would come out and start, have confirmation, send out. We can't be doing this audit in the middle of Christmas. Nobody wants to work through Christmas. I know nobody here wants to work through Christmas. Nobody wants this type of report. All things considered though, like I said, our opinion on the financial statements is unmodified after all the adjustments were made to correct in the statements. However, there are control and compliance findings to it.
Yeah, I talked to Sandy, I worked with him, he's right, this is probably the worst audit that I've been a part of since I've been at the city. I worked with you for several years now, here, and this probably is the worst that we've had. You know, like I said, the findings, you know, all I can do is try, to change things, implement, different policies in place going forward. But now we see how, the ethics and the sexual harassment, just those are as important as anything else, a part of it. You know, we've had a council person at one time that didn't have his, I think, that was full, cause it's random, it's not the same person every year. But, those things get us fined, as simple as that, just attending a meeting or looking at a video online, so. Going forward, I think we will be in a better place, a better spot, and hopefully the next year be better. We appreciate all the hard work, because it was a lot during the holidays, I do agree. It definitely was a lot, but I do appreciate the work that you put in, and you tried to get us there. So, I do appreciate that.
Appreciate it on the staff whenever we were able to start. I didn't hit any roadblocks, it was just the timing of when we started. Once we got started, we got all the information that we're requesting. It's just a start, it's that inertia. Whatever we gotta do to get started earlier, I'm all for it.
So I think we have you for next month, for the engagement letter to start on time. So we'll have that, next month in May, the actual engagement letter, so that we'll be on track, so.
That's a great plan. All right, I don't know if y'all have a vote on it.
I don't think so.
To presentation, not consideration.
Right. We do have comments from, Mr. Robertson. Do you wanna, you put all, so I'm not sure what all you wanna comment on, but do you wanna comment on that? Yes, okay. Number 7, public hearing to obtain views on the proposed subdivision of the municipal property located at 605 North 15th Street, also known as 9.108 acres in section 67 T7S R12E, designated as lots C and D, PA 2 of 85. This item was not approved by the Planning and Zoning Commission. We have several people that signed up for this. This topic is 15 minutes in total. Ms. Maggie? Ma'am?
There was a thing called the red line. It was used for segregation. Back use right now, Baton Rouge Village Survey. So the village of St. George and the city of Baton Rouge. Village Survey by the city actually. And we're on the bottom of the red line. I don't want to see that happen. We've lost big box stores. We've lost a lot of things. But you can go down LA 1 and you can look on the left side, you see a disparity. You look on the right side, you see a disparity. I don't think this would fly in the others. I don't. And I live in those. Why can't we build something that's worth it? Instead of low income, I had 4 friends right now fighting in Baton Rouge. Because they started out, Thailand used to be beautiful. From our shade, Miles City used to be beautiful. And it's a mess. Their city, they'll keep it 10 years and then they get rid of it. International investors come in, Senegals in, they don't care. Rats, don't care. 6 months, no AC, they don't care. Yet these people have to pay rent every single month. They can't leave. Why can't they leave? Because these rental management companies give them a bad credit report, and in the city of Baton Rouge, if you have a bad credit report, you're doomed. What I don't object to growth. I don't. What I do want for the city of Fort Allen is people that come and spend their money and we go home. We have the best view. There's no other view in the state of Louisiana like what we have. I think we need to utilize it. We're going to do bathrooms here. We can have book fairs. We can have Easter egg hunts. My favorite thing to do, which I thought about it today, I said, I don't know why we don't do that. Every Easter I go to Henry Rock. And they have, we watch the sunrise over the pond there. And everybody sings and it's non-denominational. And it's so uplifting. But on the years of COVID, I would walk. I kind of just and there's about 10 people that would sit in different benches. And we watched the sunrise. And we prayed and we sang songs. Didn't know who they were. They didn't know who I was. But we watched the sunrise. We could do something like an Easter sunrise service. I'm more for bringing money in, that people spend money, and they get in cars and they go back. I want a quality. These people are going to come in. It's going to change the dynamics of Port Allen High. They can say all they want to about, oh, it's going to be screaming, it's going to be this, and it's going to be that. Yeah, maybe for the first 10 years. I agree with that. They manage really well for the first 10 years, and then after that, you're stuck with something that you can't get rid of. Trust me. Ask anybody across the river. I don't want to see. We have the most beautiful town. We can create jobs here. But jobs in tourism, jobs in economic development. We have talent here. We have the Neal family. We could do a blues festival that love Baton Rouge out. We can do things that people want. Create jobs right here. Besides low income, we're better than that. When I begin to realize what we live in a small world here. When my son got a scholarship from Tulane University, I went to LSU. It hurt my heart because the administrators at LSU came to talk to me. Miss Maggie, I can't believe your son got that kind of a scholarship at Tulane. Too bad he'll never make it. I said, why? Because the academic curriculum at Tulane is so much better than Port Allen High. I said, what are you talking about? We have the brightest students. We have the best students, and they're looked down on, and I resent that. he showed him and he graduated with 3.5. Made it through 5 years. I'm tired of the kids here. I want them to stay. I want them to be proud. And when they say they're from Port Allen, I don't want them to be associated with a low rent district. I have nothing to gain. I don't. Just my love of the kids here in Port Allen. And I do love them. And I will fight for them. And it doesn't benefit me one way or the other. Because I won't be here forever. Sad to say, my son will never live here. Thank you. And I hope y'all vote no.
Ms. Lacy, again, it's 15 minutes for this topic. We do have three other people under the same topic.
It was on my time, I'm gonna be very short. Good evening, council. Keeping attendance. I mean, I think that the council probably have heard a lot of the objections from the community. I haven't heard a lot from the council though. As a former council member, I think it's important, that my time is spent and allowed to be y'all time. Because I would like to hear from each council person how this project is a advancement for the city. How do you look at this project in future terms? Like, what is the projected revenue that you feel that this project will bring into the city? I also would like to hear from each one of you all, based on the platform in which you ran on. And I think everyone, including myself, was infrastructure, infrastructure, infrastructure. Blighted, 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 and we had some youth programs there. How did we get from the campaign trail to here, to housing development? When did that come into the play? It was like a bait and switch once we got here. I would like to know if this project is moving forward. What other efforts have been made to reach out to like the other businesses, adjacent businesses, in that area? You have Portmore, that look like something from a horror movie. You have Mr. Robinson, his property. We have some other property there that just seem always to have high grass. We have the nursing home. Then you have Lynn Robinson townhouses, and she's a slumlord.
Oh.
So what are we inviting? What is attractive there? You know, what is attractions? What are we talking to those adjacent property owners about? Hey, we may need you to kind of beautify this. We bringing in another development. Even the road that leads to where the development would be is a mess. We're looking at low to moderate income. Have we spoken with Hubbins? Because if they're in a low income bracket, we struggling there. Parks and Recs, we all know, they don't, they're not responsible for any of the parks, any of the new parks that's coming to Port Allen, not even the Corn Street Park. We had to hire our own maintenance, our own workers to take care of the bathrooms, because Parks and Recs is not financially responsible for any parks that Port Allen developed. So, recreation. What are they gonna do when they get here? We have a Port Allen Middle and Con merger that's taking place. So all the traffic now is gonna come on back over here to Carolina Place. Like, I just wanna hear from each one of you all about this project. Your feelings towards this project, what have you done? Predated this project, how did you get off from the campaign trail that you were on, the infrastructure, to now the very first meeting, we came in with housing development.
since I won this election, you taking me to court. It's been back and forth. I haven't opened my mouth. Second of all, you don't know the legwork I done put into this. You don't know how I feel. You don't know how I'm gonna vote.
That's what I'm saying.
Because, wait, hold on, it's my turn. I haven't opened my mouth. I let everybody say what they had to say. Now it's my turn. I've done my living work. I know how to people feel. So you don't know how I'm gonna vote. I have been back there to Carolina Place. I've been back there personally. So you don't know. I have walked this city, door to door. This was before my time. So you have done some things that when you put them 600 houses down there, we don't get some of the tax, we don't get some of the revenue either. So if you stand up there and say,
This personal?
no, this not personal, this
Okay,
business.
it sounded
No,
personal.
no, 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 no.
And I won't be
No,
personal.
no, no, no,
I won't
it's
be
business, it's all business. It's all business. The people in Carolina Place told me that you came to them personally and you wanted to put that sewer plant back there. The sewer plant not going back there. So when we get the vote, you gonna know how I'm gonna vote. They also told me what they don't want back there, and they also told me how they feel about this project.
How do you feel?
And how I feel is gonna be how I vote.
I wanna hear it.
No, you're gonna hear it when I vote.
The purpose of this agenda item is for the council to hear the public's views on
But
this.
we don't hear from the
But
council.
the council, so the next agenda item also.
I have talked to every person, Adrian, I didn't talk to you.
Okay, Ms. Lacy, Ms. Lacy.
So, you never called me.
You never called me.
We talked, me and you talked. Charlene, I was at the hospital, remember I was at the hospital? I was at the hospital when you and I talked on the phone that day.
Hey, next,
Oh my God.
Ms. Lacy, your time is up. We have another person that
So
wants
nobody,
to speak
how about
on.
other council people?
The council will have the opportunity to make any comments that they wanna make before they take action, if they take action on the next agenda item, which is agenda item number 8. The purpose of 7, which is what we're on, is for the public to, for the last time,
Okay.
give their thoughts on this item, and then we're gonna move to 8.
Okay, thank you so much. And can I just clear up one thing? I didn't take you to court, I sued, I went to different state. I just wanted to make sure.
Okay, that's a personal item.
I mean, but she did first. I'm just saying.
All right, move on, come on.
Ms. Christina?
Can I get my 3 minutes, please? Okay, I'm gonna try to make it quick. I'm not from Port Allen. Born and raised Baton Rouge, 70805. I came to Port Allen because my husband's family was from here. Our intent was to never make Port Allen our home. We made Port Allen our home because of the community feel. And when I say I'm from 70805, I went to a Schumer, the pits. And I'm proud of the developer for getting the grant from LHC. However, I don't want it in my community. The reason why I say I don't want it in my community is because you're saying it's affordable housing. I work in mortgage lending. I've done several loans in this community personally for clients who qualify for down payment assistance that were able to purchase 3-bedroom homes, 4-bedroom homes, and get in a $1,200 mortgage loan. This particular developer is saying a 1-bedroom is $1,200, but I'm giving them a 3-bedroom for the same amount of money. So you're saying like affordable housing, there are affordable housing programs out there, but I'm asking the council to develop your community, give them the education that they need, and I will personally come up here and teach a class on how to build your credit, how to manage your money financially.
be rezoned to build some apartments. The city of Port Allen has no property in its municipal limits that is zoned multifamily or for affordable housing. The city has no land zoned residential in its city limits other than R1 for housing purposes. Yet 80% of the existing homes, housing units in this city are on lots less than 7,500 square feet. The application of that is exclusionary zoning, and that the city only has R1 remaining within its city limits. In the fall of 2024, the city denied our request to rezone the acreage on Court Street for a multifamily development. There were really no reasons given at that meeting that were relative to the request for the rezoning of the property. After that, we went and optioned a piece of property slightly outside the city limits in the parish. The parish likewise denied our request for zoning for multifamily for an affordable housing development within this parish. With the impending election in the fall to winter of 2024, before Ms. Patton was elected, we waited. We took no formal action, filed no formal grievances about the zoning hearings. We met with Ms. Patton early in her administration and discussed with her meetings that we had had with the state regarding changing from a multifamily development to a single-family housing development, if that would be something more palatable to the city. We also identified a parcel of land not owned by the city, but not being utilized, that was 9 acres, and that we offered to buy that for $700,000, regardless of what the appraised value was. The appraised value came back at $100,000. Our offer is still $700,000. We're only looking to buy 8 of the 9 acres of surplus property to build a 44-unit affordable housing development. The city made the motion, not us, to subdivide the property. The city's own planning commission denied that motion. As a result of that, it took a supermajority of this council to recommend the ordinance to subdivide this land, which was granted at the last council meeting. We're here today for the ratification of that motion that the city made relative to its own property. I would say that regarding this housing development, just a couple of the facts to reiterate again for the public and for the record, because having been this at a year, there's been a lot of misstatements and misrepresentations of things that we have said. And so for clarity tonight, I will read it. This is a $14.7 million development for persons under 80% of the area median income for disaster resilient housing. It's a combination of low-income housing tax credits and community development block grant funds awarded by the state of Louisiana to build these 44 housing units. The total development cost per house is $374,000. These are disaster resilient houses. Under the income averaging, the rent that an individual pays to live in one of these houses is based upon their income. If your neighbor makes more money than you, they pay more money than you, so that we are not rent burdened. The market study that the State Commission showed that these houses, when placed in service, will satisfy 1% of the demand of this community for affordable housing. 1%. The median age of all rental properties in the city was built in 1967. A minimum wage worker makes $15,000 a year. In America, 32% people are house burdened, meaning more than a third of their income just goes to pay their rent or their mortgage. In Louisiana, it's 50%. It's the second highest in the United States. The median income in this demographic area is $47,000. The statistic that I said last time that I think got most everyone's attention in this room is that 31% of the people that live in Port Allen make under $25,000. 21% make less than $50,000. That means 1 out of every 2 The motion being voted on tonight is the city's own motion to subdivide this property to facilitate affordable housing development. The rents on these properties, based upon an individual's income, for the lowest 30% of the area median income, that means that someone that makes 30% of the average income in this area, their rent for a one-bedroom house in this development is $191. It's a $350,000 house. The highest rent in the entire development for someone that makes 80% of the area median income, that's someone that makes $58,000, is $1,500. That's the most expensive for a 4-bedroom house. These are difficult decisions. There are 5,000 citizens. There are only a few people who have expressed objections and concerns, none of which are grounded in fact. This development will provide much-needed affordable housing to this community to allow people to pay affordable rents, to be able to afford ever-increasing cost of goods and services so that they're not housebound, so they can spend money in this community. And I will say one other thing, is that these market studies that are commissioned have a market area. The market area is within a couple of square miles of here, which means that everyone that's going to live in these houses, they already live here. They already work here. They already go to church here. They're already members of this community. They already go to school here. They're just going to be living in a new, nice home, not the one they're living in right now with broken air conditioners, broken windows, and no one there to take care of them. I appreciate your time this evening, and I'll answer any further questions at any given time.
First off, I'm gonna say, when you throw out a money figure, understand that all money is not good money, okay? Now, we have a development down here at Westview Crossing, which I opposed, for the simple reason, there was no traffic study yet. You have 640 units planned down there. At minimum, and I say minimum, you're looking at 2 vehicles per household. Yours is 44. You're looking at 88. With a total of 1,368 additional vehicles on the 2-lane highway. Now, there may be other people here that say we don't have traffic issues here. Obviously, they don't drive. It took me 25 minutes from Walmart to get to Court Street this afternoon. Nobody says anything about traffic. And the other thing is, and this is a fact of the matter, you're based in Jackson, right?
I'm from Baton Rouge.
Your company based in Jackson? Yes, sir?
One of them, yes.
Well, that's one that you're the CEO of, right? Yes. And then the developers down here. At the end of the day, y'all are gone. Guess who's gonna be left to clean up any mess that's generated? That's just my viewpoint. I think you know what I'm talking about.
I certainly do, and I will say 2 things. One, that was my point of the matter, that these people are already living in the community. There's no additional impact on traffic. The cars are already here. And secondly, these programs are designed. These programs are designed, this particular one, I have no idea who the developer down the street is, but housing tax credit program is administered by
Yes,
and the community development block grants program would preclude such activity.
thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Mr. Aricall, do you wanna, speak on that?
Just to be clear, mine's just about utilities. Essentially, I was asked to look at the availability of utilities and if it have any impact, strictly utilities on the, on the city's infrastructure. And of course, all we're really talking about there would be water and sewer and drainage. 17,600 gallons per day if you estimate 4 people for a house, which it doesn't sound like all these houses are gonna have 4 people. So, you know, and this is based on obviously imaginary where they would tie in and stuff like that, because there's nothing to review at this point. So just in general, the sewer would not overwhelm the system.
You can't drain the city now, you gonna put new houses up in there?
Talking about sewer, right?
Yeah,
It's not your time to speak.
Okay.
You study making some money, I know what you're doing, trust me. Look me
He
out.
was, okay, Mr. Ericol was asked by the city to give this information so that everyone would be aware of everything for this project. So,
Thank you, ma'am.
please continue.
As far as the water, y'all's water system is looped. Obviously, the tower is about 5 blocks roughly from there. So assuming that they actually put in the appropriate, you know, piping, that amount of demand again would not, you wouldn't be able to notice it in your city. Now, drainage, obviously I can't comment on drainage because there's no drainage to review. What would happen in, just like any other development, you would have a drainage impact study that they would have to submit to the city, and the city would probably submit it to us or somebody, and that would be reviewed to make sure their drainage would not have an impact up to a design storm. That's, you know, again, because it's so small, it doesn't, on the water and sewer, it's not that difficult. Drainage, it's a lot of acreage, so you, depending on what they do, that matters.
Thank you, Mr. Ericol. Number 8, consider adopting an ordinance for the subdivision of the municipal. Oh, go ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry. you go
Okay.
ahead.
Number 8, consider adopting an ordinance for the subdivision of the municipal property located at 605 North 15th Street, also known as 9.108 acres in section 67T7S R12E, designated as lot CD, PA 2 through 85. This item was not approved by the Planning and Zoning Commission. Ms. Rhodes?
Ordinance 3 of 2025, an ordinance of the city of Port Allen to subdivide the municipal property located at 605 North 15th Street, also known as 9.108 acres in section 67T7S R12E, designated as lot C and D, PA 2-85, and to provide for related matters.
Council members, because the Planning and Zoning Commission did not approve the initial request to subdivide, in order for this agenda item to pass, it would require a vote of 4 yeses. That's 4 votes in favor. If this item doesn't get a vote of 4 yeses, 4 votes in favor, then it would fail, and agenda items 9 and 10 would be moot, which means that it would not be necessary to take those up for the rezoning and for the sale, introducing an ordinance for those. And so I wanted you to have that information before you have any discussion or before you entertain any motion.
No, so if we do certified and we still have option to sell it, we don't have to sell it after that, correct?
Correct. Like this,
So like if
this is
he's only, he has to test the land to see if he can build on it.
correct.
But we don't have to sell after he do that, but we can subdivide and rezone it for him to check the land out, correct?
Say that again.
The environmental study is what you're.
Right.
Well, there's a lot of steps that would have to, this agenda item is literally just for the subdivision for that 9 whatever acres, 9.108 acres.
And can I get a motion?
Motion.
What's the motion? Ken?
So the motion is to approve the ordinance for the re-subdivision of the municipal property located at the 605 North 15th Street.
Need a second?
Okay, it was motion by Ms. King, second by Councilwoman Gordon. Roll call.
Mrs. Joseph?
No.
Mr. Payne?
Yes.
Motion failed, ma'am.
Okay. Because agenda item number 8 failed, agenda items number 9 and 10 are moot, and so they, don't need to be taken up.
And I wanna say something, on this. This has been going on for months and months, but we only wait now till we get to meeting to ask any of us how we feel and what we think about the property. I think all the comments that have been posted and no one ever came to sit down. I posted my phone number. Everyone knows I've been working here. I just have a different position. But no one ever took the time to come and sit and ask or to talk and see what I can only speak for myself. My thoughts were on the property, beforehand or before now. So I think moving forward, if we're gonna move forward as a community, I think we need to start with those things first before we bash someone, publicly on social media or calls or anything. Just have a conversation. It only takes a conversation to have. I can have a conversation. Like I said, I can only speak for myself, but I think moving forward, for us to move forward as a community, we talk about community and community-based. I ran on community, and I posted, like I said, my number. Most have my personal cell number. But I think before we can move forward first, we have to look within ourselves before anything. So ma'am, I understand that, but you want to ask now. But like I said, instead of just posting, it was posted that I voted. The mayor has never voted since I've been in here in January. I've never made one vote, and it was posted. Yes, ma'am, it was. That I voted, and the mayor voted for this, and she voted against that. I've never made one vote since I've set foot. Since I've been here, Ms. Lacy. I've talked to you, but I think it just needs to be publicly said that I am here for the people. I am here for the community. I am open to talking to anyone in here as long as you have a conversation. As long as you come to have a conversation with me, I have no problem with talking to any one of you. And I think before some of the things that were posted and said, I think conversations needed to be had first. So I just wanted to say that. So we're gonna move on to number 11. You've already spoken, Ms. Lacy. You've already spoken for the comment that you signed up for 7. You've already. She spoke. She signed up for number 7. So she did. And we can talk after this. It's fine. I said myself. Number 11. Consider approving a cooperative endeavor agreement with the One West Baton Rouge organization in support of the annual Family Day in the Park in the amount of $2,000. Community development.
Yeah, we just had not signed it, so we put it back on. We didn't have it, but yeah, they approved it last month. We had not signed it yet, so we can go ahead and see it.
Okay. So we'll get those documents to you.
Yes.
We voted last time.
Yeah,
So we'll get those.
yeah. We just not signed it and we didn't have it.
Number 12, public hearing to obtain views concerning approving an ordinance to increase the water and gas budget by $100,000 to address multiple leak repairs. I thought Mr. Joseph. This is just putting in the budget.
Yeah, from what I understand, they approved it already, they just didn't have an amount. So we're trying to put an amount there and.
We're for the $100,000 for the, multiple leaks. I just want to walk out. Number 12.
Oh, okay, yeah, so.
this at committee? Yes, we did. We had several gas leaks in the, system. So we're asking for $100,000 budget amendment to address the costs associated with repairing those gas leaks.
Okay, so you wanna stay for 13?
I'm sorry. Sure.
No, this is,
It's just a public hearing.
This,
nobody else spoke, public hearing, so close.
nobody's on, yeah, okay. 13, consider an ordinance to increase the water and gas budget by $100,000 to address multiple leak repairs.
That's it. So just vote.
Y'all have any questions?
Okay, this would be ordinance number 4 of 2025, an ordinance of the city of Port Allen to increase the water and gas budget by $100,000 to address multiple leaks and repair and related matters.
Okay, can I get a motion? Okay, it was a motion by Councilwoman Gordon, second by Councilman Hubble. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Joseph? Yes. Ms. Gordon? Yes. Mr. Hubble? King?
Yes.
Payne?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, number 14, consider authorizing Mayor Potan to make an emergency appointment of Adrian Daigle as Director of Finance. I brought this, to committee meeting. Ms. Katrina Davis is retiring. She stayed a couple of days to help, Adrian out with, just some finance, issues. So I am asking that, he be placed in this, position interim until we finish the advertisement. Motion by Councilman Hubble. Second by Councilwoman Gordon. Roll call, please.
Ms. Joseph? Yes. Ms. Gordon? Yes. Mr. Hubble?
Yes.
Ms. King?
Yes.
Payne?
Yes.
Motion passes, Mayor.
Thank you. 15, consider authorizing Chief Mitchell to hire the following individuals: K. Clark, B. Ennis, K. Hyde, C. Mobley, and L. Thomas.
Y'all already met them, they introduced themselves.
I don't know if it went off or not. At the bottom, I think.
Hear me? Okay. Oh, like I said, y'all met them last week. They introduced themselves, and here we are. So,
Okay, so, we gonna do individual, you wanna do them all together or, global? We can do them all together. Okay. So can we get a motion to? I make a motion to approve all the hires. Okay. So it's motion by Councilwoman Gordon, second by Councilman Hubble. Roll call, please.
Ms. Joseph?
Yes.
Ms. Gordon?
Yes.
Mr. Hubble?
Yes.
Ms. King?
Yes.
Payne?
Yes.
thank y'all. Thank y'all, though.
Okay, I think before y'all leave, Ms. Tamika's
Gotcha.
gonna, talk to you, she's the HR director.
All right, got you.
Okay, 16, presentation of monthly financial report, Mr. Daigle.
Y'all all should have received the email from me on Friday. Did anyone not get it on Friday to make sure I've got correct email addresses? It came from my City of Port Allen email address, copying the email addresses that the municipal clerk used to send out the agendas.
You said Friday?
I got it. It came through the email.
All right. All right. So do they have it in their packets or not? They don't? I'm kind of late now. But I can read over it very quickly. I started with the revenues by fund. And I don't know if y'all have ever received revenues by the revenue side of things. I've always received the expenses. So I gave the revenue side. So we have three major funds: the general fund, the water and gas fund, and the sewer fund. So water and gas fund, and Mr. Tanny Booty mentioned about budget amendments when we're 5% under and over. So on our revenue side, anytime we're 5% under what we projected, we should be doing budget amendments. And we do plan to have a budget amendment ordinance introduced next month so that y'all can vote on it in June to comply with those audit findings that are, for all of our funds, that if we got revenues under 5% as of May, y'all will be voting on that budget amendment in June to comply with that. So revenues by fund, our general fund right now, we are doing very good. We've collected, we've done 93% of what we were going to collect, and we're 75% of the year through. So we're collecting more than we thought. That's a good problem to have. It's a very good problem to have in the general fund. The one major thing where those revenues is coming from, that when the budget was prepared last year that they did not anticipate, was in the taxes, sales tax and the ad valorem taxes. Sales taxes, and when you're doing budgeting in the revenues, you want to underestimate and be conservative on what you think you're going to get. So whoever prepared the budget last year, I think Ms. Katrina and the Falcon Winkler firm together, and with Mayor Lee's oversight of that budget, because he was in charge at that point, wanted to underestimate sales tax revenue. Sales taxes have come in much higher than what they thought. So we're getting a huge bump in the sale that we didn't budget. But the other thing is on the ad valorem taxes, when the budget was prepared, they did not consider the roll forward that we eventually voted on after the budget was already done. So we are collecting a little bit more in ad valorem taxes than we thought we would this year. We won't have that problem next year because we know about that. The water and gas fund, we've collected about 73% of what we said we were collected, so we're still within that 5%, so 73. You're trying to make your estimates in May of what's going to be happening a year later. If we're within 5%, we're doing good. That's why that budget amendment law gives us that 5% variance, whatever. In sewer, we've collected, I'm at a loss of that. I took the reports out of what Encode gives us and tried to put it into a format that y'all have been seeing before. I haven't had time to really go through it, but sewer, we've collected 91% of what we said we would collect in the sewer, which blows my mind considering all the problems we have with sewer. So I haven't had time to investigate why that is what it is. The federal funded program, the Section 8 that Mr. Tanny Bude spoke about is the primary fund he's concerned with, that 5%. We are going, like I said, have a budget amendment to address everything. The Section 8 is pretty much, as he said, too, what we get from the federal government, we turn around and give it back out. So we're not making money, it's a in and out, but when you get more money, you're also spending more money, and all the audit looks at too is that final expenditure. I did notice when I put this thing together that my income at this point in time, we were short about $60,000 on the Section 8 for income compared to the expenditures that we're going to get to. And I've discovered since then, part of that is that we get a lot of our revenue, and not just in Section 8, but Section 8 for sure, comes in as a electronic funds transfer, not through cash collections downstairs, and Encode is cash collections. We've got to manually put those payments into Encode outside of cash collections, and that was usually being done in the past through the bank reconciliation when we were, and you heard Mr. Taney how we were behind in the bank reconciliations, reviewing or whatever. So going forward, we're going to try to get those deposits in the same month in a different way, but it will take time putting procedures and policies in place. I will not have it done by next month. Sorry. Give me some time. But even though it says $60,000, if you look at those two numbers, that money was in the bank. It just hadn't been put in Encode as of when I ran this report, because I was trying to be ahead of the game and realized I'm not going to be able to do these reports the first of the month. I have to wait a little bit more time afterwards to be more reflected, because it takes time for everything to post accordingly. So that's on the revenue side. On the expenditure side, we've got in the general fund the administrative, city court, police, protective inspection, roads and drainage, sanitation, animal control, community development, fleet maintenance, and depot. All those expenditures go toward the general fund on the revenue side. So as you can see, most of those departments, or Kane, I'm sorry, administrative, all of administration, right now we're expenditures that we said we were going to spend when we put this budget together of May of last year, that we would be 75%. We're at 67%. So we're under our expenditures, what we thought at this point in time. Same thing with city court, 69%, police, 59%, protective inspection, 73%, roads and drainage, 64%, sanitation, 75%, animal control is at 69%, community development at 38%, fleet maintenance at 36%, depot at 3%. One thing to note that while some of these are much lower, we've got insurance premiums for our liability, fire insurance, and all those things that are paid out in May for a year's worth of time. So they have not been paid yet that we'll be paying, that will bump these percentage up to much closer to what those percentages need to be. In the water and gas fund, we've got 3 different departments that counteract those revenues. It's the water and gas administration, the water system, and the gas system. The water and gas administration is at 59%, water system at 79%, and the gas system at 51%. Part of that 79% are those multiple gas leaks, and we've fixed some of those things, and why we asked for that budget amendment is that we know we have those invoices coming in that we haven't paid yet, that we need the council's approval to expend those additional monies that we didn't budget, that we know for sure right now. And finally, the sewer fund counteracts against the sewer system and the wastewater system. The way Encode seems to be, from what I understand, is that the ARPA funds are in a separate thing, so the revenue that we have for ARPA funds is going to counteract some of that 243% that we see if you have this as an expense. So we're not in as dire of a strait in the sewer system as we see if you look at that, because the ARPA funds are not counteracting this because they were not on the Encode thing that I've pulled out, and I did not have a chance to look at all of our paper records that we have. So, any questions? Thank you.
Mr. Hasbert?
Yes, ma'am. How you doing? Can I pass this up to you, please, ma'am?
That's intended for the mayor, right? You want me?
Yes.
Okay.
I went rid of skid steer. All the properties around me is getting cleaned up right now. I would be on it right now if I wouldn't be up here. I had one of your employees, not your employee, the city employees, tell me I should take my personal money last week and clean it up myself because Mr. Hubble told him don't clean up nothing around me. So I'm taking it up on myself. I went in my old cubby hole and dug up something. I went and bought a skid steer and a tractor, and it's at the house cleaning it up. Now, could you have Republic Services to come by? Because I'm leaving a big pile down there. It's just going to be not one, it's going to be a bunch. I'm going down to Chaffaly Street. All the people that need their yard cleaned up there, I'm doing it because of moi and whoever else, you know who I'm talking about. I'm not going to call no names. Ain't going to do shit for us back there. Y'all have a nice day. And when I get finished, I'll bring you the rest of the bills too.
17, condemnation proceedings.
None at this time, Mayor.
Alcohol, 18, alcohol beverage permits. Announcements and correspondence. We just want to let everyone know, we do have an Easter Kids Fest this Saturday here on the grounds of Can I get a motion?